Hey guys, it's Emma Vigling with TYT Politics on a cold one here in the New York area. And something chilling is happening to our country. Donald Trump announced today that he's going to be slashing the regulations put in place by DoddFrank, which was a 2010 bipartisan bill. Kind of weak tea, but it was something after the financial crash to prevent this kind of thing from happening once again. He's meeting with major CEOs today to discuss further deregulating the financial industry. This is depressing for me, and this is what happens when a Republican is in power. Some of the CEOs include Blackstone CEO Steve Schwartzman, Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Come on, Elon Musk, what are you doing? Mary Barra of GM, IBM CEO, Walmart CEO, and of course, the JP Morgan Chase CEO, Jamie Dimon. You might be saying, Jamie Dimon, isn't he BFFs with Barack Obama? Yeah, he's been known as the progressive banker by the mainstream media, but there really is, in my opinion, not so much of a thing. Those things are incongruous, but the mainstream media likes to call it even and say, oh, Democrats like banks too. It's not just the horrible Republicans, which is actually the case. Obama and Dimon lobbied for Obama's 2014 spending bill, called up senators and congressmen together. Even Maxine Waters of California was like, this is beyond the pale, and she's a huge Barack Obama supporter, and she was saying, no, I don't feel comfortable with the fact that Obama and Jamie Dimon together were whipping up votes for this $1 trillion spending bill back in 2014. So just think about that for a second, not to get off on a tangent, but Obama and the head of JP Morgan Chase were calling congressmen together for the same purpose. I mean, that's absurd to me. But I will get back to Donald Trump. So the point is that Jamie Dimon being heralded as a progressive banker by the mainstream media don't buy into it. Jamie Dimon will work with whatever president is going to get him the result that he wants, which is more money, and for JP Morgan Chase to be as profitable as possible. That doesn't mean that he is as bad as, say, Walmart CEO, but it's all the same bottom line for these guys. There's a reason why they're involving themselves with politics, and it's not just because they have the civic spirit. It's because there's something good financially that's going to come of it for them. So now that Trump is in the White House, Jamie Dimon is working with him to deregulate the financial industry further. Guaranteed that these CEOs are working together with Trump, and they're going to maybe create another financial crash. I mean, these CEOs would be working with Hillary Clinton no matter what. I understand that as well. But Donald Trump has the full backing of the Republican Congress behind him, which makes it even scarier. So, what are Trump and this gaggle of CEOs going to do? And apparently, they're going to cut any semblance of regulation that we had after the crash. I will read from CNN. President Donald Trump will begin working Friday to dismantle the financial regulations enacted after the 2008 financial crash, hours after the first major economic report of his administration is released. In two executive actions. Oh, by the way, isn't he a dictator, Republicans? I thought Obama was a dictator for his executive actions, but Donald Trump's just throwing out these executive orders every single day, and you don't seem to care about that, but that's just because it helps your donors and your financial interests. In two executive actions, Trump plans to direct his administration to evaluate regulatory action taken by his predecessor, Barack Obama, with an eye towards eliminating what his advisors say are burdensome regulations on financial services firms and consumers. He'll also force the delay of an Obama-era rule that required retirement investors to act in their clients' best interests. You know you're on the right side of things when you're pushing to delay a bill that would act in the people receiving retirement benefits' best interests. Don't you feel good about yourself, Donald Trump and Republicans, that you're trying to make sure that retirement for elderly people is less secure? Does that feel great? Do you sleep well at night? Because I don't know how you can. This is not an attempt to undo Dodd-Frank, the senior administration official said, but identified areas where Trump could make unilateral changes, like placing his own directors at key regulatory bodies, meaning not regulatory at all. The official demurred if that Trump planned to excuse me, the official demurred if that meant Trump planned to fire the current head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a brainchild of Senator Elizabeth Warren that's expected to be on Trump's chopping block. Trump on Monday called Dodd-Frank a disaster and vowed to do a big number on it. So for those of you that don't know, Dodd-Frank is what was passed in 2010, I mentioned that already, as kind of a replacement for Glass-Steagall. Who repealed Glass-Steagall? Oh, it was Bill Clinton. So these are the corporate Democrats and the corporate Republicans working together to screw us all. But what Glass-Steagall was a hallmark of our financial regulations. And when Bill Clinton did away with it, it is a direct cause of what happened to us in 2008. Dodd-Frank was kind of an effort to replace it, but Dodd-Frank is much weaker. It just kind of gives Congress the option to break up banks if those banks are too big to fail, deemed by Congress. So it's not the same thing as what Glass-Steagall was, but what did come out of Dodd-Frank, which was great, was the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Elizabeth Warren spearheaded the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and we cannot forget. We can be critical of Elizabeth Warren, but we cannot forget what she did for the American people with this bureau. It is the only thing that protects consumers from these predatory mortgages. So all of this subprime mortgage lending that led to the financial crash, the CFPB is in place to prevent that exact thing from happening. From people getting preyed on by banks and from them giving out these crappy loans, which led to the crash again in 2008. So, in my opinion, that's the best thing to come out of the Dodd-Frank Act, and Elizabeth Warren is obviously very upset that Donald Trump wants to do away with the CFPB. She was quoted as saying, "The Wall Street bankers and lobbyists whose greed and recklessness nearly destroyed this country may be toasting each other with champagne, but the American people have not forgotten the 2008 financial crisis, and they will not forget what happened today." I'm with her there. It's devastating to me. I thought the CFPB was a really, really good agency, and my godmother worked there, and it's difficult to see this kind of stuff happening under the Trump administration and know what might be around the corner. The second thing he's doing is on Friday he will direct the Department of Labor to cease implementation of an Obama administration rule on retirement investment advisors, which is supposed to take effect in April. That measure, called the fiduciary rule, required retirement investors to always act in their clients' best interests. But the Trump administration officials said the rule was a complete mess. They're all starting to talk like him, with a litany of unintended consequences. The Labor Department will have 90 days to reevaluate the rule and report back. They'll have the final say on whether the rule is enacted. Obviously, now the Labor Department is headed by Trump, so that rule is not going to be enacted. So, retirees, elderly people, you're screwed. You don't have anything in place that's going to help you and make sure that these institutions do not screw you over. So look, like, again, a theme of all the stuff that I've been saying is like, corporate Democrats, we can malign them all we want. We can get angry at them. And look, I screamed at Cory Booker on this very channel. But there's really something about having a Republican presidency and Congress that sends a shiver down my spine. Look at what they're doing. I mean, there was so much progress, tepid and perhaps temporary progress under Obama, getting us back to some decent employment numbers. And I know it's underemployment, but, and it's, look, he's not Bernie. He's not the socialist that we need right now. I understand that. But there was progress, and look at this. Look at how he's just week 2, dismantling this stuff. And I very much worry about the state of our financial institutions going forward. And I'm not optimistic, guys, so just stay engaged, stay involved. I'm optimistic about the future of the country in the long run, but in the short term, this is difficult to stomach. So, all right, have a great day, guys.